Okay, hey everyone, Lad from the Woods here on UAP UFO First Contact. I'd like to talk about Bob Lazar a little bit because 2023, here we are with the first video, and I am a very big follower, believer, student of everything Bob Lazar, and I have been watching and studying and listening to everything I have possibly could. I have a list on my YouTube of all the different UFO videos to do with Bob Lazar, and so I think I'm not George Knapp, obviously. I'm definitely not Jeremy Corbell, but I feel that I've studied and know enough about the whole entire situation that I am well educated on Bob. And I continue to study and, try to get different angles. And even when people are wrong, if I don't necessarily correct them, I'll pick up something there sometimes, which will let me refer back to things I've listened to on Art Bell, whatever. Anyhow, 2023, we all agree. We think this is going to be a big year with that NDAA thing going on. As I said in another video, I think there's technological advances that may force our alien friends' hands here sooner than later. The JWST is likely to force some hands there. So we're at a crossroads, a crux, going around a corner, a reckoning, whatever. So that brings us back to Bob. And I think it's high time after 33 going on 34 years. Yeah, a lot of you weren't even born. And since this started with Bob, and this has gone on, it's been a terrible thing for his life. He has regretted every moment of it. His fascination of his science is what got him into the mess. And, he's kind of like, Mr. Magoo scientist. It's not like he went looking for this. He just stumbled, and they decided to have a look at it because he thinks outside of the box. He's also an expert in radiation, uranium, and things like this. And so to me, it was a natural. Let's bring this outside thinker, especially if he knows a lot about, uranium, radiation, all this other stuff, plutonium. Bob is well educated. So, but to get back to the 33, 34 year thing, Bob has been harmed by our government, lied to. His family has been harmed and lied to. It has cost him dearly. Okay, he's had to move more than once. He's had to go live in Alaska to get out of the limelight. He hates the limelight. He has a business. He has a family. And I think it's high time, that Bob get vindicated here. And the government apologized to him because Bob is real. No matter what you guys think. And I find that 99% of you that suddenly have these ideas about Bob, that, he's fake, or he's this, or he's that. Every time I ask you guys, have you done the legwork? Have you spent the time? Have you listened to all the hundreds of hours of interviews and everything else that is Bob? None of them have done that. I have done everything I could possibly do since Bob was revealed to me on videotape. Probably it was actually beta. When my cousin sent these tapes up to me from Vegas, he was working in Vegas when Bob was in Knapp and all this was going on. And then my cousin knew I would be very, very interested in what was going on with this reveal. And it hit me immediately. I showed my father, who was also very interested in UFOs because we both had sightings together. And it was like, okay. And immediately seeing Bob, my father, myself, we recognized in Bob that entire nerdy generation of computer guys, scientists, whatever. Bob is exactly of that generation. It's like, oh my God, he even has the pocket protector. But Bob is a genius. I don't care what MIT says. I don't care what these other places. I mean, the big place where Teller worked, they denied it, and then we proved that he was there. Okay, so I've said this in another video. I work the other side of the law, and it's very easy for the law to make people disappear and their lives disappear and intimidate and tell people not to talk. 1947 is a perfect example of that. So I really think that Bob needs to be vindicated. He needs to have an apology and confirm I guess that's under vindication, but confirm what Bob's been saying all these years and open it up, because if we really want to work on that technology, we need a whole lot of Bob Lazars working on it, and we need Bob Lazar working on it. I've tried to connect Jeremy and Bob and Dr. Hodgins to do with the Warp Drive project. I don't know if Bob is I don't know how to pronounce it, Albuquerque papers, but they've been updated, and I don't know. For me, Dr. Hodgins' biggest problem, and this is where I think Bob comes in, is the exotic materials aspect to power these craft. And Bob seems to have a grasp with Element 115 and a bunch of other things, and has for over 30 years. And between the government and all these other things that have gone on with him, we've actually pushed down the guy that may actually be our biggest ally. Like, guys, okay? So when you guys come on Twitter and think you know everything, you're only doing damage because you haven't done your studies. Okay, then you'll go and argue with people like Jeremy. Why not help Jeremy instead of fucking shitting on him? Well, Bob this, Bob that. You know, Stanley, what's his name, said that. Listen, when it come to Stan Friedman, okay, he was very obtuse. I know there's a lot of you that worship on his altar, but extremely obtuse when it came to Bob Lazar. And that's because Stan's ego couldn't allow for the fact that somebody else had been there and he hadn't. He was a nuclear physicist, and Bob wasn't, according to him, okay? And I think that was an ego thing with Stan, because Stan had an ego, okay? All you had to do was watch his talks at these conferences, and a lot of it was more often about his view on things and his idea and things, and you know, and his like, well, I'm a nuclear scientist, so I know everything. No, you don't. Just because you're a nuclear scientist doesn't mean you know everything. You might know about nuclear physics or whatever, but that doesn't mean you know everything. And UFOs go way out of that zone for the entire human race. So Stan is no expert other than what he's read and what's been handed to him, and so are a lot of other people, okay? And so a guy like Bob, who has claimed that he's had hands-on, okay, this is the guy we want there, okay? If the government, you know, can be pushed into a situation where it's like, okay, we've got to, you know, we should reveal this, and there's probably other Bob Lazars that we don't even know about that never came out, and we're missing these guys. If there's some of them are still alive, hopefully, but it's like we're turning away the very people we need to help work on these projects. I don't know that Bob would ever want to work on a project like that again. He has said that it did interest him big time, and that he was sorry all these years he hadn't been able to be more helpful and be able to work on it. So why would we shit on a guy like that? You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, like I said, the biggest problem I have are people that come on Twitter and YouTube and all that and start spouting, and they haven't even done the legwork. You know, they've read the odd paper, they might have seen the odd YouTube video. But if I asked them, have you listened to every Art Bell interview? They didn't even know Art Bell had interviews since 1990. And so, I mean, that tells me you haven't done the legwork and you don't have anything really to say. You're free to say whatever you want. I mean, I'll support your right to be wrong. I'll support your right to be right, to speak it. But, you know, do the legwork before you, you know, think before you speak. Something my dad used to say to me all the time. So I just wanted to bring that up about Bob. I think it's high time, and I think that we should, you know, get behind Bob, get very vocal about it. You guys out there make videos and say, hey, enough. Now with the NDAAs, there's people that Bob worked with that might be able to come out now and be safe and feel safe revealing what was going on without the government coming down on them. And so I think that's all I'm going to say about that. So I hope you folks would join in with me on that one, and you know, write your congressman or senator, whatever, do your videos, whatever, show support to Jeremy and George and other people that have worked on the Lazar thing, and let's give this guy his due, okay? And if after all this, it turns out I'm wrong and Jeremy's wrong and George is wrong, we're not, okay? I know certain things that I will not say, but I know that Bob is telling the truth. And because it involves my past, and I don't really like to put that out on the internet. Jeremy, I sent messages to Jeremy a few years ago, letting him know what was my situation. I believe he did read them, because I did get just a very curt answer. He's busy. The guy's always working on something. You know, and it wouldn't surprise me. He's got 2 or 3 other movies on the go, and he just hasn't spoke up about them yet. Anyways, of course, he's still withholding stuff on Lazar. He has said as much on TOE with Kurt, and that will be revealed eventually. I'm absolutely sure of that. And hopefully eventually is sooner than later, because like I say, I'll get back to, like I was saying in another video, we're at a big crux here, or a turning point, whatever. And Lazar has to be part of that. And we have to get this settled once and for all. And then for Bob and his family's sake, it has to be settled and apologized for. I'm not telling them they should give Bob $1 billion or anything like that stupid. I just think that they should stand up in public and say, listen, this guy that came out in '89, we're not going to tell you exactly what we did to them. It's fairly well-known knowledge. But yes, he did work at 51. Yes, we do have these craft. Yes, he was there. And yes, things happened to Bob that shouldn't have happened. We apologize to that. But I think it has to be done in public, because this man's reputation has been ruined, all because he came out. And it's not right. Totally not right what's happened to him. And as I said, we're definitely flushing a guy down the toilet that could be very influential and very, very, should be very, very involved in what's going on with the alien question. Okay? All right, well, that's all I really wanted to say about Bob today. I'll get this up as soon as possible. And I thank you for coming and listening. Please, 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 always put stuff down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, because that helps build. Because YouTube is certainly not helping me with any of my channels. They don't do, I don't know if I'm shadow banned or what the story is. I'm rough, I swear. I'm not Scorsese doing all these fancy videos. All my videos are always raw and unedited, just like life and just like I am. And I say what I say, but boy, am I having a hard time. It's over. I just passed my first year. September of 2021 is when I started all this mess on YouTube. And, you know, okay, we can blame me too. Maybe my channels aren't as interesting, but I see a lot of shit out there. I'm going, well, why has this guy got 60,000 views on this video? This is like, I've done this almost exactly. I don't mean a copy, but it's like, you know, they didn't even swear. Anyways, I don't know. YouTube is bad, but you can find my stuff also on Rumble. And actually, it's been a long time since I put anything up on Rumble for UFO. I might put my stuff up there first today. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, like I said, thank you for coming. You're welcome to visit my other channels. I'm going to try and remember them all. There's Wicked Tunes. There's UAP UFO First Contact, which is this YouTube channel. Lad from the Woods. UFO. Sorry about that. The phone turned off. I don't know if there's a limit in size. So I was saying Wicked Tunes, UFO UAP First Contact, UFO UAP First Contact, The World Speaks, A Voice in the Wilderness, which is my politics and opinions on anything and everything, and Winterfell Hunt and Fish Camp, which is my hunting and fish camp where I live here at the trailer. Okay? Everybody be good out there. Happy New Year to everyone, and be cool. Peace. Live long and prosper.